What's up, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania, episode 79, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rottello, at Zach Rottello on Twitter, and sitting across from me in the digital space is Jon Parker.
What's going on, Zach?
Not much. We got a little Zoom video set up here so I can actually see your face for the first time on a show in a long time.
I know. I have to watch what I'm doing because I'm being recorded.
No illicit substances anywhere in the shot, you know?
Okay.
Got to make sure that's a rule.
Mm-hmm.
But plenty of cats. There's going to be 100% chance of pussy in this episode.
Riva will most definitely be making an appearance at some point.
Oh, what a cutie. Well, we can't wait to see that. If you've never listened to an episode of the show before, things are very simple. Jon and I are two dorks, and we love talking about nerd shit that we love, and
Big
movies,
dork.
television. Oh, yeah, big dorks. Video games, television, comics, movies. It's all here. And on our normal episodes of the show, which is what this is, we're going to kind of give you a news rundown. What's the biggest topic since the last time we recorded a show? Which, do you remember what episode, what week it was? 78? How long ago was that at this point? Had to have been in November.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So yeah, it's been a busy December, and we're just over halfway through December at this point, or just about halfway.
We haven't done a show since then because you and I both work in an industry that requires us to be busy during the holiday season.
Yes, and
but tonight was able to work out so that we could sit down and bang out some of these news and catch up.
Yeah. So everyone strap in. We have a lot to talk about.
It's probably good audio there. It's probably the biggest news dump we've had, right?
Maybe.
Ever?
I mean,
ever?
Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think, probably
in terms of
aside
our
from
two favorite franchises, it's definitely the biggest, one dump at one time.
Yeah, aside from E3, that would be the only other thing where it's when we did that E3 show where it was literally we had to talk about the 4 different press conferences all announcing new games and stuff, and then that was also Comic-Con week too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good E3.
Yeah, so it's big. You guys are going to love it. We've got tons to talk about, including Game Awards. We got Cyberpunk. We have all of the Disney Investors Call stuff, including Star Wars, Marvel, and then we also have everything about the HBO Max thing. There's a bunch of news in here. If you'd like the show, please follow us. Do the things. At Zach Rottello on Twitter. At Radiovania on Twitter. radiovaniashow@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or any topic suggestions, or if you just want to write fan mail, please tell us how much you love us. We love that, don't we?
Yes. Fan mail would be much appreciated.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Connor in a long time. That dude just ghosted us. He must have found another podcast he likes.
There's no other good podcasts out there, so I don't know.
We're the only one. We're the only one. And then go to radiovania.com. That's the easiest way to check out all of our stuff all together. Everything that we record gets pushed straight to radiovania.com. It's basically our YouTube channel, all the podcasts. You can go back and watch The Few of Us, parts 1 and 2, the movies that got snubbed for the Oscars, both years that they were released. And
robbery. It's more of a crime than Al Pacino not winning Best Actor for Godfather Part 2.
Who won that year? Do you remember?
That is a great question. Let me look it up.
Oh, man. Speaking of Godfather, this can be our first little tangent. Have you watched the new cut?
No, I wanted to talk to you about that though.
Okay, so we save that for a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while John's
researching, we can do that in the intros, but yeah, I do want to talk about that.
Well, let's talk about it now, man. Hit me. I've been so excited about this. Yeah, it's so the basic bits that I know about it, I guess, is that there was an alternate. There's a bunch of unused footage for Part 3 of The Godfather that someone cobbled together and kind of changed the pacing around, and apparently the reviews are spectacular. Apparently it's greatly enhances the film, and I don't know anything about the actual cut other than it's a new cut of the movie.
So have you seen all 3 of the films?
Yes.
Okay. So it's well known that the third one is the worst one. Originally, when Mario Puzo, the author of the novel, and Francis Ford Coppola, the director of the first 2 films, set out to make another installment, what they wanted to do was have it be an epilogue to the first 2 films, not like a movie. It was supposed to be a send off for Michael Corleone, not considered to be like a sequel per se.
Right.
Because this was supposed to be based on the epilogue and later chapters of one of the books that Mario Puzo wrote. And Paramount Studios was like, well, we can't really market that if it's titled The Death of Michael Corleone. Like, and why wouldn't you just make a third installment? These movies they make so much money. They're critically acclaimed, you know. In my opinion, both of the first two are like top 5 best movies ever created. But that's another conversation for another time. However,
Godfather interview coming right after we finish the DC movies.
Oh, dude, I would love a God pod, Podfather.
I like both of those.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I actually think that's a great idea because I haven't watched any of the Godfather movies since college. So it's been years.
I think it'd be cool to watch all 3 of them, but the third one, we watched this new edit instead.
Or we could watch
it's
both.
On my Vudu account, Zach, if you want to watch it.
Okay. I'm actually really interested to do that.
It. Yeah, I just added this afternoon. Anyway, so this cut just came out. It's only $15 for the Blu-ray. It comes with a digital copy. And the ending and the beginning is different. It's edited the way they originally wrote the script. Okay. The music is different. The pacing is different. I doubt much of the plot is different, but I think it should be. Apparently, it's more cohesive. So I'm excited to watch it. I've only seen part 3 one time. And I really remember liking Pacino, obviously, and Andy Garcia as his nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll have to get back to you about it. By the way, I looked it up. The Oscars, this was the 47th Academy Awards. Al Pacino was nominated for Michael Corleone for The Godfather Part 2. And listen to this lineup, Zach. Jack Nicholson, also nominated for Chinatown.
Wow, Chinatown.
Dustin Hoffman nominated for Lenny. Albert Finney nominated for Murder on the Orient Express. And Art Carney, for Harry and Tonto. And Art Carney won. Come on, guys. Come on.
Get your act together.
Clearly, Al Pacino or Jack Nicholson should have won that award. But that year, Robert De Niro did win for the performance as young Vito Corleone. And there were 2 other supporting actor noms from that movie. But yeah, highway robbery, man.
Yeah, totally.
Al Pacino in part 2 is like what all actors should aspire to be. It's so good.
Well, speaking about what all actors should aspire to be, Pedro Pascal in The Mandalorian stars as a man who doesn't take his helmet off. Season 2 is underway. We have 1 episode left next Friday. Can you believe it, John? It's already almost to the end. It's crazy. Flew by.
I'm not going to lie, man. These 8-episode seasons are really killing me. I mean, it's 8 weeks of bliss, but followed by just how many weeks in the year? 50.
Well, soon you'll have a new Star Wars store every other month. So
yeah, I hope that they don't dump them all at once. I want to stagger those out a little bit. We're gonna get there, but I'm overwhelmed. So
yeah, we will definitely get there. But yeah, Mandalorian season review. The last time we talked about this was when episode 2 had come out, right? We reviewed the first 2 episodes, and that was with Lucas. So now we've seen 3 through 7. John, give me,
which are all way better than the first 2 episodes.
Way better. I mean, god damn, Mando. Yeah. God damn.
Since we last talked, they brought in a live action incarnation.
Should we do spoilers or should we say spoilers that we're just going to
spoil free? Spoiler free right now, real quick.
Okay,
it's good. Go watch it.
Yeah, it slaps.
And then come back and listen to this.
Why
tiptoe around it? We know what it's about.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend of mine at work today, and I was saying like Mandalorian season 2 is so drastically better than the first season that it's not even funny. Like I think
it's the Empire Strikes Back of Mandalorian.
Yeah, like I mean, that's saying high praise about Mando season 1 was that it was like a New Hope, but I don't know. I everyone on the show is more than anyone. I was pretty critical of the first season. I didn't love it. Like I really enjoyed it and I thought it was a cool show, but I was really hoping they'd do more with it and focus more on the plot. And season 2 has just answered every problem that I have. Like the narrative is stronger. There's cliffhangers that you care about. There's They're bringing back characters that play more into the story, and they're introducing great villains, and there's better writing. The effects look better. Everything about season 2 is better. Like, I don't know, man. It's so good. It's been a real joy to have new Star Wars every Friday for the last few weeks. So
for sure, I'm gonna be sad when it's done.
Me too.
But thankfully, you don't have to wait very far for WandaVision. So
yep, hell yeah,
that would be nice.
All right, so spoilers. You were about to say something about introducing something.
Oh yeah. So since last we spoke, they just started to introduce live action versions of all of these characters. That we had heard casting announcements made, but still getting the chance to finally see them and how they play into the story is really cool. So they kind of make it, the formula for this season has been like each episode they're going to bring in these guest stars that are really dope. So we got Bo-Katan, played by Katie Sackhoff, who did the voice.
Which is cool. She is good in the role. I think I was surprised at how little she was in that episode. Like, she's not in, I mean, she's in that episode, but like, too, it's a shorter episode. But I thought she played the character well. I know nothing about Clone Wars except for the 2D animated one. But I thought Bo-Katan was cool. Yeah.
That's a great cartoon. She's a dope character. She's in Rebels as well. I guess the one thing you should know, which this isn't spoiler because you've watched Mandalorian, so you realize it's not the case, but last time we saw her was in Rebels, and she had the dark saber, which means since Rebels she has lost it to Moff Gideon somehow, which they brought up in that episode that she was looking for it, which is cool.
Okay.
I can't wait to see him fight with that spear against the dark saber.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? And then let's just say it right out the fucking gate, man. I don't know where you stand, but like the episode with I can't remember the titles of the episodes, but the chapter where they it's the introduction of Ahsoka, and they have to infiltrate the feudal Japan kind of looking city with the prisoners and like the refugees and stuff. Like, oh my god, dude, that episode, that is like
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, seriously. It literally coming off of me playing Ghost of Tsushima over the summer, like that episode was so good. And that samurai battle at the end, the Western standoff mirrored with the Japanese sword fight. Like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it's the perfect molding of the influences of George Lucas, which is, samurai films like The Hidden Fortress and Seven Samurai, as well as like Westerns. So dope. Yeah, that episode is great. It's called The Jedi.
Jedi. Okay.
Very simple. We also learned Baby Yoda's name, Grogu.
Yeah. How do you feel about Grogu here?
I think it's a cute name, but I'm just gonna keep calling him Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that like I think that the moniker of Baby Yoda is so endearing that I think it's and like there was an interview, I think Jon Favreau did an interview like a few weeks ago, and this was like literally right after the episode where they reveal his name, and Jon Favreau in the interview continued to call him Baby Yoda. So it's like the name has stuck and is going to stick. Like I think that the Grogu naming device is only there to give a little bit more of a connection between the two characters. Like I don't think the name is all that symbolic.
Not really. And I think that part of the reason they did it too is just so they can have this running joke of how every time you say his name, he like perks up. Grogu. Yeah.
Which is cute as hell, man. Come on.
So like, I'm curious to see where you stand, but so they had that episode and then they followed up the next week where they're immediately going to this Jedi temple that Ahsoka sends them out to find, because he's supposed to either choose to reach out with the Force to find a Jedi or not. They put him on that temple. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Maybe there's going to be some like dope Jedi shit in this episode. And then Slave One comes up out of the sky. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I honestly didn't think that they were going to bring Boba Fett back in this season.
Really?
I thought they were going to slow burn it. And boy, was I wrong. Because in that episode, he shows up. He's got Ming-Na Wen, who is the voice of Mulan in the original cartoon. She's still alive from the worst episode of last season.
Yeah, easily the worst episode. Maybe one of the worst episodes of television.
I think they only make that episode last season just so they could set that up, that she's hanging out with Boba Fett. But yeah, so it's like, oh my It was so dope. Like, what are your thoughts on Boba Fett? Because the scene when he finally puts the armor back on and just starts like annihilating stormtroopers,
It's epic.
I was like, this. I can't believe that they're doing this. This is amazing.
It's epic. Yeah, it's like your volume is a little bit low. If you could adjust it just a smidge.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I thought maybe you thought I was giving you a thumbs up earlier, but my bad. Yeah, dude. I think that, I mean, it was epic. It was really, really cool. I love the dilapidated looking armor, and it like is all rusted out, and it's super cool. The moment is awesome. Like, cause there's that music cue and it cuts over to him, and then he like blasts all the guys. And that clip has been being shared around Twitter and stuff. So you're likely have seen it, but,
he's got the knee rockets.
Yeah. And the targeting thing that comes down.
Yeah, but like even before he puts the armor on, he's like killing people with the gaffy stick and stuff. And I was like, Jesus, we've never seen these things get used, but they're pretty scary.
Yeah, I think that the only criticism that I had is he looked a little chonky in the suit. Like he kind of looked like he had a belly, but it's because they cast whatever his name is that I can't remember that actor's name.
Tamora Morrison.
Yeah, Tamora Morrison.
See, I kind of liked that because you got to think. Boba Fett, unaltered clone. Unfortunately, he's a clone, but unaltered clone son. He has been probably out of the bounty hunting game for 5 years since Return of the Jedi, hiding out in the desert. He's probably putting on some LBs, eating the bantha, drinking the milk like old Luke Skywalker. I thought it was cool because it gives chunky nerds like myself something to cosplay as. It's
something to strive towards.
Peter Parker. Yeah.
Disney gave us Fat Thor.
He's like Dad. He's like Dad Boba Fett. He's got the little dad bod going.
Yeah. Daddy Fett. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I think this season has just been such a slam dunk, man. And I remember leaving season 1 being like, man, I'm kind of worried about the quality of the rest of the Disney Plus shows going forward. Like, are they all going to have these kind of like filler episodes and dip in quality? And after seeing this season, I'm like, I think it was a learning lesson. Like that first season of Mando was like a little bit of a learning experience for them. And I think they've kind of nailed the formula a little bit better in this season. And so I'm thoroughly excited for the rest of the Disney Plus slate, even if it is a little overwhelming, which we will talk about here in a little bit. But yeah. How do you think that they're going to wrap it up in the last episode? Like, I want to know your predictions. Like, give me a Nostradamus prediction.
Hot take. I don't think he gets the baby back this season.
I don't think that's that hot of a take, but
I think it could be pretty hot. We'll see.
I mean, I think that doing that would be incredibly bold as a narrative decision to leave us with a cliffhanger. I do think that the season 3 of Mando could probably come out next year with how fast they're able to turn these things around.
Have they filmed it yet?
I don't know. That's a good question. We could look that up, but I do know that they've talked about, I think that, Favreau and Filoni had the idea that Mando, this series would be 3 seasons, and then they'd close the book on this story.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I kind of like that because
I like that too. I don't want it to be dragged on for too long.
I feel like once he actually, like, if Grogu chooses to go the walk of the Jedi, once that is no longer the core of the show, that duo, I don't know if the show can be the same. But
I agree.
You can have Din Djarin show up in other things. Interesting. I had not heard that, but I kind of like that, going like the Stranger Things route where they know where they can map it out going forward. That's cool.
Yeah. And a thing like, I don't know, my complaint still with the first season is still active and alive in season 2, but I don't love that he doesn't take his helmet off. I wish that they would resolve that arc because it so clearly is going to end with him like, he takes the helmet off in this last episode, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, Pedro Pascal is such a great actor, and he shows such great emotion with his face, and it's such a fucking bummer that they keep that helmet on him. Like, I get that it's cool for the lore reasons, and like, John Larson and I, fan of the show, John Larson, I love you, buddy. He and I were driving back from we were in the car a few weeks ago, and he and I were talking about Mandalorian season 2. And he was telling, this episode hadn't happened yet. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, man, I just don't like it. I don't like it when they take the helmet off him. He's like, I want the helmet to stay on because I like the mystery of it. And I like that it sets him apart. And I'm like, I get that. I get that aspect. But at the same time, I miss that. Like, I feel like I can't fully relate to him because I can't see his face and see him emote. And I really, 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 I mean, I'm holding it out. If your hot take is that he doesn't get Baby Yoda back in this next episode, my hot take is that I bet his armor gets stolen or something in this next episode. And then you're going to have the season end with him showing his face to multiple people. And it's going to be like here's how I go. I mean, I've already showed my fucking face to Bill Burr and all these clone troopers, but it's like,
that gun out of my face, Mando.
But it's like, I don't know. I would love to see multiple episodes of, especially like, can you imagine like seeing Pedro Pascal like well up with emotion in like a scene where he first sees like Grogu with the mask off and they're able to connect that way? Like, oh man, I want that moment so bad. And so that's my pie in the sky prediction, is that something is
one.
Go ahead.
One follow-up question, but I agree with you. I like where your head's at. Are you at all nervous that the drink bet that we made a couple weeks ago might come true? Because all roads are leading to a potential Luke Skywalker appearance.
Remind me the drink bet. My head is blurry.
My drink bet was that Luke, Han, or Leia at some point will make an appearance in this season.
And I said
like,
no.
You were like, there's no way. And then she's like, you got to put him on the rock to reach out to the Jedi. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, sorry, I need details. Are you saying that Luke, Han, or Leia will show up in this season or in the show?
I don't remember which we agreed upon. I don't remember.
Because if it's the show, I might be a little bit more inclined to agree with you that could be possible. But if it's this season, nah, no way. You have too much shit to cover in this next episode.
Unless that's like next episode, there's a big battle. They lose. Let's say they don't get the baby back. And then Luke Skywalker shows up and that's the cliffhanger. I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, anything could happen. Anything could happen. We also don't know how long the last episode is. Like episode 8 could be another 40-minute one.
An hour.
I hope it's an hour and a half. Fuck it. Who cares? Like I want
feature length. Let's go.
I need deets. I need closure. I want.
Do you think it's possible that the finale of the show is a movie?
I wouldn't be surprised. In the same way
that they were thinking about doing that with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I do think that it could be interesting. All right, so John, any closing thoughts on Mandalorian season 2 before we get to the conclusion on this coming Friday?
I want my Mig Mayfeld action figure. That's my closing thought.
Your who?
Migs Mayfeld, Bill Burr.
Oh, Mayfeld. That's right. Okay, great. I just know him as Bill Burr. Which great dude gave a fucking hell of a performance in this episode. And that's what I'm talking about too. Pedro Pascal is so good. He's such a great actor, man. And that scene where they're at the table and the Southern general, Southern Civil War general is talking to them about the shit, and then he shoots him.
For the glory of the Empire.
It was awesome, dude. It was so cool. I love that whole concept. It was so fucking rad.
I liked how they did that as like a homage to the scene in The Godfather where Michael kills Sollozzo and the police captain, where it's just like one guy's talking and it's zooming in on his face closer and closer. You can tell that he's clearly uncomfortable, and then he just like gets up and blasts him. And that was dope. Yeah, it was super awesome. We will have to devote a lot of time to the finale after that airs. So stay tuned.
We will. Mandalorian
Let's talk
season
about the Game Awards.
Interview. Yeah, the Game Awards. So the Game Awards. Did you watch any of it live, or did you just kind of catch up after the fact?
No, but I caught up, and we got it, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. So The Last of Us sweeped the Game Awards, as is really no surprise. The Game Awards aired on December 10th, 2020. I'm just going to kind of run through some of the biggest ones on here. And if there's anything you want to call out, feel free to call it out. I played a lot of video games this year.
Yeah, the first thing I want to call out before you start anything, real quick. The fact that Gustavo didn't win for score and music really pisses me off. And that Final Fantasy VII, a game that already existed, won for score and music. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it is I'm pretty sure it's the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra rescored, and they had a whole new composer come in and recompose the 16-bit, because it was a 16-bit game back on the, or not 16-bit. I'm going to get flogged for that on the internet, but the PlayStation 1, it was on the PlayStation 1, and they rescored it with a full orchestra and all this stuff. So there is I don't think it's as clear cut. You got to remember to remove that Last of Us bias, my dude.
I will never remove the bias, and you can't tell me otherwise.
All right. So game of the year, some of the other games were Hades by Supergiant, Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch, Final Fantasy VII Remake by Square Enix, Doom Eternal by id Software, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Nintendo, and the winner was, unsurprisingly, The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog. And I could have seen this going one of two ways. I think that The Last of Us Part 2 got a majority of the votes because of how complete of a game it was, but I also, and we talked about this a few episodes ago, I could have seen Animal Crossing winning as just a game for the time, and I kind of agree.
That's the one I was worried about.
Worried about? You gain anything from them winning?
I do. I gain everything.
The Last of Us Part 2 might be my favorite video game of all time, and one of my favorite experiences I've ever had playing a video game. But Animal Crossing New Horizons was the game I've spent the most time with in 2020, and honestly, the game that helped me with 2020. It helped me through being furloughed and through a tricky part of my life, and it was a comfort thing, and I'll never forget that experience. And that affected my outside life. Yeah. I know. So Animal Crossing, I think, affected a lot of people's lives outside of video games, and The Last of Us was just an excellent experience all around. So I totally get, I think that The Last of Us 2 is the winner, but my personal heart wants to, I wish that there was a game of the year tie. That would be pretty rad, because both of those games equally affected my life in 2020 very, very specially. So
yeah, I'm glad they didn't tie though, because
I don't think they're able to, but yeah. Game direction, Last of Us Part 2 wins again. Best narrative, Last of Us Part 2 wins again. It was up against some good competition too with Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I'm glad Ghost of Tsushima won art direction, because
yes,
I haven't even played that game, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I actually totally agree in this scenario too, and especially because the Last of Us is a beautiful game, but its art style is dystopian. It's very much real world dystopia and apocalyptic, kind of stuff. But Ghost of Tsushima was something I'd really never seen in a video game, which is that samurai movie come to life, and so it looks incredible, especially in 4K. Like John said, score and music, Final Fantasy VII Remake 1. Audio design, Last of Us Part 2. Another big one was performance. Laura Bailey won for Abby, who was up against people like Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie. I'm going to butcher this name. Daisuke Tsuji, who played Jin in Ghost of Tsushima. Logan Cunningham, who was Hades in the video game Hades. And Naji Jeterm, I don't know, who played Miles Morales.
Just stop.
Another stiff competition, man. Fuck, all of these people.
Was I haven't. Though?
Yeah, dude, Ellie was amazing in Last of Us, and
no, I meant for the people that weren't in The Last of Us.
Totally. I mean, you haven't played any of the other games except that this is the only place where I have seniority, bitch. I've played every one of these games. The only game
Naughty
of the
Dog
year
invented mocap, baby.
No, they didn't. The only game in the game of the year contention that I haven't played is Hades. That's the one game that I haven't played, and I've been meaning to, but there's just so much to play on PS5 and Series X that I haven't gotten to it yet. But it's on my list of shit to get through. But man, Miles Morales is fucking awesome in that game. He's so good. He gives such a great performance, maybe even arguably better than Peter Parker in the first one. Jin is great. Ellie's great. Abby's great. All these people, just kudos all around. Good year for video game performances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, here we go. If you had to pick between Laura Bailey or Ashley Johnson, do you think Laura Bailey is the right choice?
I think Ellie gave a better performance.
I think so too. But
I think Ellie gave a more.
Why they did it.
I think Ellie gave a more subtle performance, and Abby gave a more emotional performance. Like Ellie really only has a few moments of like of being able to like really showcase that. Like I think the moments where Ashley Johnson gets like obviously the big death scene is hard and it's really really emotional, and that's probably one of the best acting jobs that she has. But Laura Bailey gets plenty of moments to really really like she gets to connect with Lev and have those intimate moments, but then she also gets to have like the really rage moments, like the stuff in the woods and I don't know. So they're both great for different reasons.
Owen.
Yes, they're both great for different reasons, but I don't know. I'm just such an Ellie fanboy. So,
yeah, I was kind of bummed that there isn't a supporting category.
Yeah, right.
Because I think for those of you who haven't played it, obviously, I'm sorry that you have to find out this way, but Troy Baker as Joel not in most of the game, but his performance is so good because he's playing through the course of the 3-ish flashbacks. He's playing like 3 different versions of Joel, which is just impressive as well. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for video games, it's a lot more than just the performance. So I understand.
Yeah, and I do think once you introduce a supporting character in a video game, you get complicated because video games are everyone except for you is a supporting character. Yeah, so
that's fair.
But yeah, I would have. I mean, if you put Joel in that list, too, I do think there is even contention against Laura Bailey because it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like this is a bad example, but it's kind of like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, right? Where it's like he doesn't speak the most out of all the characters in the movie, but like he's the performance that everybody thinks about.
Hot take again for that Oscar year, he should have been up for supporting actor because he's not the main character of that first movie. He's only in it for like 20 something minutes.
So there you go. The opposite sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But all right. So I think that's all the major game awards. Obviously a lot of talented people. Lots of great games. 2020 was a fucking shit year, man. Terrible year. Pandemic, horribly racist president, just terrible all around. But we got a ton of great video games, dude. So many great video games. And like the fact that all of them came out in the same year is a miracle. And, so kudos to everybody that won.
I'm excited to eventually play them. I'm just now getting immersed into Red Dead Redemption 2. So
yeah, you're playing one of the Game Awards winners from 2018 or 2019, I think. Or when did Red Dead 2 2019?
2018.
2018? Jesus. That feels like that game came out a long time ago.
I'm so behind, but I love it.
Good. It's good. It's a great game. You're going to love.
Okay, boy.
Have you gotten to New Orleans yet or no?
Nah, I'm in Rhodes.
Okay.
The like plantation town.
Yeah.
It's really cool. There's like a little Dust Bowl element going on there with how hot and shit it is. And
yeah,
I just take the boat out and go fishing. And
John's role-playing Red Dead like he would role-play real life. He just goes fishing.
It's taking me so long because I am Arthur Morgan. I'm just like living a second life in 1899.
All right, so moving on. I don't have much to say about the next topic, and I won't keep much time because I know we have a shit ton of stuff to go through. But I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. It's the new CD Projekt Red game, the guys that developed The Witcher. I mainly want to put this in here because I've only played 5-ish hours of the game. I mainly want to put this in here because it's good for it's good for search engine optimization. Clickbait, baby. We sold out. We sold our souls. But there's a lot of controversy on the internet right now about the game. It was delayed 3 times before its release on this past Thursday, which was December 10th. It feels like at this point, maybe 9th. But a lot of the controversy is about like the game coming out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in a bit of a broken state. lots of bugs and glitches, and a lot of issues with console players. And part of the also, the issue is that there's you can only buy the previous generation versions, like the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 versions are going to be a free download for people that have purchased the PS4 and Xbox One versions next year.
Interesting. Okay.
And so those will come with all sorts of high texture upgrades and resolution bumps and smoother operation behind the scenes. But a big part of the controversy was that when reviewers got copies, they were only given PC copies. And when they were given, when reviewers put out their actual final review of the game on launch day, they weren't allowed to use any footage captured on anything except for the footage that CD Projekt Red gave them to show in their review.
Harsh.
So
that's sites, it's bad.
Yeah. So sites like IGN, they did a review, and at the very beginning of their review for Cyberpunk, they were like, "Hi, just a disclaimer: we aren't showing you footage that we captured. This is footage that CD Projekt Red sent us that is already pre-rendered and like perfect looking." So basically, what they did is they did that review, and then a couple days ago, they republished the review with their own footage to show the bugs and the actual the look of the game that they ran into. So, kind of a fucky launch. I was a huge fan of The Witcher, not as big a fan as our boy Hard as Mike, at Hard as Mike on social media. Feel free to reach out to him and tell him how much you like him.
DMs.
Yeah, slide into those DMs. But so I was really excited about the game, and also I love the cyberpunk aesthetic. Like I love Blade Runner, and I was super excited to jump into this game and get lost into a big open world. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I think the story is really cool. I still haven't met Keanu Reeves yet. I haven't seen him, and I'm a few hours in. So
that sucks because I was hoping he could just be there the whole time.
Yeah, I think that they're setting him up for a really cool reveal. Like I can feel it kind of like coming. Like I feel like he's around the next corner.
Whoa.
But yeah, John was texting me earlier this week about he was like, "Oh, what should I delete on my PlayStation to make room for Cyberpunk?" And I was like, "Well, maybe don't do it quite yet."
Yeah.
And so here's a story I'll tell. Just a quick little anecdote.
$60 you ever saved me, man.
I spent $40 on it because I got it on Amazon for $10 off, and then I had a $10 promotional credit. So I technically only paid 30. It was like $35-$40 for it after tax. So I saved a little bit of money. But anyway, short little anecdote. I had yet to run into any bugs, and I was in 2 hours into the game, 2 or 3 hours into the game, and I was like, okay, this is good. I am running it on a PlayStation 5. I'm running it in the best optimization mode I can. No bugs. I hadn't run into anything. And then all of a sudden I get to this quest where I have to go in for this guy has to install a piece of cyber tech into me to help me with doing cool shit. And so I go under for this surgery. He installs the tech. I wake up, and the quest said the exact same thing. The quest that I had on the thing told me to get in the chair for surgery after I came out for surgery. And I was like, oh, that's weird.
Second surgery.
So I was like, I kept trying to talk to the guy to let me get back in the chair or keep talking to the guy. And it kept saying talk to this guy, talk to this guy. And I was like, well, maybe I just need to come back to him after a while and after I have more money to upgrade myself. So I proceed to run around the open world for another 2 hours, just looting stuff and earning money and shooting people and doing stuff. And it was all, I kept going back to this guy and I couldn't complete this quest. So I'm like, well, fuck. So I saved my game. I go to work. And while I'm at work, I looked up the name of that quest to see if anybody else had come into this issue. And apparently there's a bug where it's every 50% that when you do this quest, you might not be able to complete, the next quest won't pop. So basically I was in an endless loop of nothing. And so basically I had to reload my entire save, and I lost 2 hours of progress and had to go back from before I went into surgery, redo that whole scene. And then once I came out of it, it gave me the next quest, and then I could continue. So
that sucks.
I lost quite a bit of progress.
That's That's like at the end of Majora's Mask if you don't save your rupees and you just see it all spiraling down when you go back in time.
But other than that, I think, you know, and I hate to say this because I believe in supporting developers, especially ones that you care about. But with a game like this that is in such like a state of rockiness, the rocky state that it is in, I think that you could benefit, and a lot of consumers out there could probably benefit for waiting a few months, purchasing this game when it goes down a couple dollars in the retail cost. Pick it up. There'll probably be more patches available to download. You'll get a better, smoother experience for less money. So that's Zach's 2 cents of the week.
Cool. I'll check it out eventually when it's playable. And
yeah, and what I'll airmail you my copy once I'm finished with it.
Dope. Sweet.
All right. What's next, John? What's next on the news docket?
So
news flashpoint. We forgot to say that at the very beginning.
Yeah. Well, this is the beginning of the news, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There we go. So something has happened. Can you feel it? Sorry, I'm just vamping for the sake of vamping. This first article we're going to talk about is something that we have been discussing for a very long time.
Feels like forever.
This is the first major action taken, but Warner Brothers has decided to release its entire 2021 film slate exclusively streaming on HBO Max simultaneously with a theatrical release. These titles will be the same way that Wonder Woman 84 is going to be, where you have it for a month on the HBO Max service after it is released, and then, you know, it'll get cycled out and you can purchase it, I'm assuming, on Blu-ray and stuff like that eventually.
And I think that they've already announced that there's an option there will be an option within the app to purchase it.
Oh, cool.
I think that they've already announced that. I could be wrong, but I think that that's what they're doing.
Yeah. To talk about some of the titles that might be pertinent to us, we have Godzilla versus Kong to continue the monster franchise that's been going on for the past couple of years. For DC, we get the Suicide Squad.
Sorry, do you want to talk about these after we read each one for like just a little blurb? Like, do you want to say if you're excited or not excited, or at least a little bit?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down.
All right, Godzilla versus Kong.
Thumbs up. It's a movie that I would have never paid to see in the theater, but fuck it, I'll watch Godzilla fight Kong at home for free.
Sure. Did you see Kong Skull Island?
No, but I've actually heard had multiple people tell me they really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I
watched it. It was aight. It has Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston in it in performances that have no opportunity for them to actually act, in my opinion.
Interesting.
So, best actor in that movie is John C. Reilly because they give him the most to do. Anyway,
what about Kong? He's an actor.
He's great. I think he's performance captured by the guy who did the performance capture for what's his name, Koba in.
Oh, really?
Planet of the Apes 2. Yeah.
Oh shit! That guy. That's awesome.
Yeah. So bigger monkey this time, but
yeah, he's upgrading. He's upgrading in the chain.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If I have like a couple cocktails and it's free, I'll just watch it. But,
why not?
Next up, we get The Suicide Squad.
Yep.
I think you and I both agree that we would watch that for sure.
2 thumbs way the fuck up. I'm so excited for The Suicide Squad, man. Mm-hmm. Can't wait.
I listened to a podcast. I listened to an episode of Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum this week. He had Nathan Fillion on, and he gives slight tease to his character TDK, which is pretty cool.
Polka Dot Man, baby.
Next, we got Timothée Chalamet's Dune, also directed by Denis Villeneuve. I think you and I can both agree. We're going to watch that.
2 thumbs way the fuck up.
For the sake of our boy, Oscar.
And Josh Brolin, Timothée Chalamet.
Brolin's in that?
Yeah, dude. That and Jason Momoa. That cast is bonkers. There's stacked. It's stacked. Did you watch the trailer, right? Have you read the book, or like, do you know anything about Dune as a property?
A little bit. I do want to read the book before it comes out, so
I'm actually curious to read the book too. But yeah, Denis Villeneuve is one of those directors that's batting 1,000 for me. Like basically every one of his movies I think is perfect. So,
or as Michael says, batting 100.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my goodness. Keanu Reeves, Matrix 4.
I'm gonna go thumb way to the side way.
I'm gonna go.
You know what I say?
I'm gonna go down.
One of the Wachowski twins is attached to this, correct? I think it's Lana.
Yeah. But those last two Matrix movies were really bad.
Not good. Not good at all.
Not good.
Yeah. The Matrix is a franchise that is so confusing to me. It's like the first one, it was a pop culture phenomena, but it still, in my opinion, isn't a super great movie. Like I don't love the Matrix.
Oh, really?
Not really, no.
I love the Matrix. That first movie is so good. Let's see what's next. This is where we get into the things that I don't know as much about.
Yeah,
the
I don't know
Little Things,
I don't
Judas
know
and the
that
Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry. I know.
All right, did you watch that trailer?
I did.
That shit looks terrible. That looks so bad, man. What the fuck? Someone on Reddit compared it to Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yeah, or like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it looks bad.
It just looks so. It doesn't feel like it's like you have like Chloe Grace Moretz running around and all these like human actors that I don't give a fuck about with these CG. I love Tom and Jerry. It's just like make a full length feature movie about Tom and Jerry beating the shit out of each other. Like I don't need these human characters.
Tom and Jerry slam dunk at the box office because you don't need voice actors. You don't have to pay people to act in those movies. You just
that budget could be like $10 million.
$5 million. You're just paying two people to draw it. Anyway, Mortal Kombat.
This movie is in trouble.
Or as it should be say, Mortal Kombat.
Finish him. This movie's in trouble. There's been no trailer or any kind of like. I think it's like in production right now, but it's supposed to come out in January of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So like it would be just at the very end of this fiscal year. But I of all the ones in this that I know, this has the most chance of like slipping out of this window, in my opinion.
Yeah. Those Who Wish Me Dead. I'm not entirely sure what that is. But
don't know what that is.
The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. I do like the Conjuring franchise.
This is the first one with Vera Farmiga is back, and so is Patrick Wilson, right?
The Ocean Master.
Call me Ocean Master.
Yeah. Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical In the Heights.
I'll watch it.
Space Jam, A New Legacy.
Come on, Slam, and welcome to the LeBron James Jam. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I love Looney Tunes in any capacity. I even love Back in Action. It's a schlocky, terrible movie, but I like.
What are the odds that Michael Jordan shows up in Space Jam: A New Legacy?
He'll be in it. He'll be in it. 100%. I would say 110% if I could.
What are the odds he's the villain?
Very low. Like
you don't
2%.
Want to see him and LeBron play like 1-on-1 with Bugs Bunny, 2-on-2.
I can see them being like friendly rivals, but the villain is going to be some sort of monster. Like a cartoon monster.
Okay.
Or maybe like Rick Moranis.
Here's a good question for you. Who wins in a competition? LeBron James with Tweety Bird covering up his face versus current day Michael Jordan in 1-on-1 basketball. Who wins? One of them still in their athletic prime. The other not blindfolded.
I can't even. I don't. This question is so outside of my wheelhouse. I have no idea, man. I would probably lean towards Michael Jordan since he can see.
Yeah, he could just jump shot, right?
Yeah, homie's just been golfing. Did you see that? Did you see that like billion? Did you see that $1 billion golf complex that Michael Jordan just opened in like Florida or something like that today?
Mm-hmm. Dude, Michael Jordan used to wake up at 6 a.m. and go play a couple holes of golf, then come in and practice, then play the actual NBA game, and then go to the casinos until 5 a.m. playing blackjack almost every day, and still put up like 35 points on people. And everyone's like, LeBron's better. I'm like, get out of here.
Have you ever played fantasy basketball?
Yeah, I have. I'm really bummed that our friends aren't into it because Connor and I really want to get a league going. But
I'll play with you guys.
Yeah, but we need a lot of people, and unfortunately, you're not going to be able to convince Michael or John to do something like
yeah,
that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, But
so that's just some of the films coming out.
So how does this strike you? I mean, Max. Like, I think this is good news across the board. Like, people are not going to a movie theater in 2021. Like, people aren't doing it. Tenet made like $10 million in the US. It's like, it's abysmal. And this is a change. This move is the most progressive one so far, but it's like, the theater model is going to change and people just have to adapt or become obsolete. Like, that's just really what it's going to be. Like, I'm not going to a theater in 2021. We're not going to get, you and me, average Joe Schmoes, are probably not going to get a vaccine until July, maybe August, maybe even later. So it's like, and there's so many movies that I want to see. And like, I will gladly pay. I want to research this more, but it's like whatever the DGA is saying, but it's like, if they're saying that they're in a breach of this because they're making them free, that's interesting to me. But if the breach is just that they're releasing them, that it's like, I don't see.
The letter is more about how it's the same thing that we've discussed. Is the DGA is made up of all the directors in the United States of America. From Bradley Cooper to somebody who directs one episode of television. And one of the gists of the letter, I have not read the whole thing. I did some skimming, but I thought it was pretty interesting. But one of the things is just the fact that it's like some directors that don't work for Warner Brothers won't have this opportunity. And, they do get a sense of residuals from the DGA for how much their movie is seen. So, for example, someone like a Chris Nolan is not making a lot of money off of Tenet. But Patty Jenkins is probably going to make bank, so it's just like, it's more of like the fact that it's going to be like a wide variance of people who will, and now it's going to be like, it's going to be a hard sell for any director to want to work for anybody besides Warner Brothers, unless it's going directly to a streaming service instead of a theatrical release. So
yeah, and
it doesn't necessarily say if they're going to take like lawsuit action specifically, but they hint at it. So
I get that, but at the same time, it's easy to say like, "Hey, we're only doing." I think that would be different if they said that their entire future slate, but they're only saying films releasing in the window of 2021,
which is what I think is like a good. If they're going to do this forever, which we'll see. Hopefully, they won't have to, but
hopefully they will, man. Well, hopefully that the pandemic is over, so they don't have to.
Hopefully, we can go see things in the theater, right?
Exactly.
Because I'm fine with them releasing day and date to home and theaters, but there are some movies that I would want to see in the theaters if I have the opportunity to, and I hope I get that opportunity again.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
To be honest with you, I would see more movies if I didn't have to go to the theater.
Right on the money, my dude. Right on the money. Like, I hope that, I want to see the Suicide Squad, and I want to see Dune on the biggest possible fucking screen. Like, I want to see that movie on a huge screen with a great sound system, but like,
Tom and Jerry in IMAX.
Oh yeah, baby, you know it. But I'm gonna see like Godzilla, like we said earlier, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm not paying $15 plus concessions for me to go on a date night with my girlfriend to go see Godzilla v Kong. It's like, but I will pay $15 or whatever for HBO Max.
Proposed a date night to see Kong versus Godzilla, she would break up with you. So.
I don't know. I've made her see some pretty bad shit. So
yeah.
I'm currently, she and I are currently, she's never seen the Fast and Furious films, so I'm currently watching through those. We just got through Furious 6. That movie rocks, man. That movie's so good, dude. So next is Furious 7, so I'm just going to be a little weeping baby the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Izzy and I finished Lost, and I was like crying throughout the entire finale, and she's like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Yeah."
Have I told Have I told the pandemic dream about Lost on the show yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah.
So, just to put a little bow on this, I think this is good news. I sincerely,
good news for the near future.
Yeah, I sincerely doubt that this. I want to do more research, but I highly doubt that this DGA thing is going to sway them. They've already done. Warner Brothers isn't like a fucking. They're not a joke. They've done their research, and if they can do this, they wouldn't have started advertising it. So, or if they can't do this, they wouldn't have started advertising it. And so I think that this is gonna happen, and I'm here for it. I will watch most of these movies on here at home for $6 or however much for the HBO Max subscription plan. Like, I'll happily watch all of them.
Yeah, if anything, you win Warner Brothers because you just locked me into a subscription for a year. So
same.
I'm gonna sign up the day or two before WW84 comes out.
Hell yeah, brother!
I'm so excited.
And speaking of WW84, we're gonna try our best to do Birds of Prey, and then we're gonna get together right after Christmas and do WW84. Are we gonna get a cat appearance here? See if she'll meow into the mic.
Say something.
This gets pulled away.
She's chatty.
Chatty catty.
Chatty catty.
All right, what's next on the news, Don?
An even greater news article than the last sec. Spider-Man 3 in the MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man series. They have casted, sources are saying, Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, directed by Sam Raimi. This is also coming along with rumors of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
And we already know they brought J.K. Simmons back. So, live action Spider-Verse? Question mark. It looks like they're doing it, which to me seems like they saw the news article where they're like, Michael Keaton's back as Batman, and they're like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
So, like, if I'm DC, I'm like, we gotta get this Flashpoint movie out as soon as possible. But yeah, dude, how do you feel about this?
I'm so here for it, dude. I think that, you know,
this movie's not coming out for like 3 years.
Yeah,
like,
it's going to be a while. I mean, it's on the very end of the slate for Phase 4. So
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness out before this.
Yes.
So I think the Spider-Verse gets introduced in that. That way, this movie doesn't have to handle a whole lot.
Spider-Man 3 release date, Tom Holland, December 17th, 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. No, wait, this is wrong. This is wrong.
That's wrong. That has to be
I don't
wrong.
think any of these dates are hardcore. I don't think any dates are firm. Does that make sense?
No.
So, like, here's my brain. Here's my brain, John. You ready? It's in two halves.
Okay.
Picture it in two halves. Half number one is, this is great. I think that if anyone is going to handle a multiverse movie in a lighthearted, funny tone with great emotion and yada, 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 all that, I think that John Watts in Spider-Man 3 is a great combo. And I do think that paying homage to The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man, Electro is also coming back. Jamie Foxx is Electro. That was confirmed already. So he's there too. Hey, dude, Jamie Foxx is a great actor. Give him a chance to be better with a better script. Like, he was terrible in that movie, but it was just because they gave him shit, you know?
You better listen to your boss, white boy.
So
yeah, that's right.
On one hand, I think this is a great idea. Pay homage to all these classic Spider-Man. You will find no bigger fan of the Raimi trilogy than the two of us. Can we agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I think you met my friend Steve, right? Who I play X-Wing with.
I don't think I ever met him. I think you only talked about him.
He was at my birthday. Maybe you just were not able to remember. Yeah. Anyway, he's a big fan too, actually. So, but cool. Anyway, yeah, you and I definitely the biggest.
Yeah.
Love me some upside down kissing in the rain and
back to formula.
James Franco pumpkin bomb action.
Yeah. But on the other half of my brain, I would, dude, just go ham. Go ham. Get everyone back. Bring back fucking.
Dude, I want.
Bring back Topher Grace.
I'd rather bring back Sandman.
Oh yeah, that'd be great too. Fuck.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Here's
what I want. I want them to be like, because Doc Strange is going to be in this movie, right? I think we already talked about that.
Yeah.
I want the Spider-Man to be like pouring out of the portals, and he's like, Tom Holland's like, you got to close the portals. We got to keep everything bad out. And then Willem Dafoe flies in on the glider. He's like, "Out, am I?" And he throws him.
Oh, that'd be great, dude.
That'd be cool, right? Yeah.
Suffer the children, or let's suffer.
Finish it
from evil.
The movie's so good.
I love it, dude. I'm gonna watch all 3 of them right now.
Dude,
but here's the pessimistic side of my brain, right, John? Optimistic side, cool. Pay homage to all these classic movies. I love it. The pessimistic side is, remember there was like a year or 2 ago when there was all the contract negotiation stuff between Tom Holland, Disney, and Sony about like Sony wanting to have 100% of the rights back to be able to use to do the Spider-Verse that they're hoping to, and with like Venom and Carnage and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm worried that they're doing this movie as like a way to write out Tom Holland from the MCU. That's my fear.
No.
They have to. They've already said that the contract negotiations was that they would do one more Spider-Man movie with Marvel as like the main producer, and it would be an MCU film. But then after that, I'm pretty sure that there's no more planned movies because Sony wants to do their Sinister Six.
So he's not going to be in the Avengers?
They don't know. They haven't reached an agreement. There was
Phase 4 sucks. I'm out.
I think that's the pessimistic side. Is that
You're telling me we're not going to have Peter Parker or T'Challa? Come on, they got to figure it out.
Someone will do. There will be ongoing negotiations, but yeah, that was the big news story. Was that Tom Holland went to Sony and was like, "Hey, you have to let me do this. Like, you have to let this happen. Like, people want this partnership to keep going." And like, they got flagged for it on social media. And like, so
is that officially confirmed that it's only one more picture?
I think so. You can check me on that. You can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure they extended the contract for one more feature film because his contract ended after Far From Home.
Sony, far be it from me to tell you how to do your job, but you're literally throwing away a machine that prints money. So
yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my pessimistic side. But regardless, give me all the Raimi people. Give me all of them. I will take. I saw someone because the other day on Twitter there was a great meme was that it was like Alfred Molina was cast, and then there was all these people that were like, "Oh, blank was cast," and they were like just going off of it. Like Joe Biden was like
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. Well, there was the meme. Someone memed out the video of Kamala Harris calling Joe Biden after they won, and she's like, "We did it, Joe. You're cast in Spider-Man 3 or whatever." And so there's all this shit happening. But then one of the best ones was the Onion Movies tweeted "Hey, that guy stole my pizza" guy is cast in Spider-Man 3 as "Hey, they stole my pizza" guy or whatever.
That's incredible.
That guy stole my pizza.
If they were to bring in one obscure character besides Bruce Campbell into the fold from the Raimi movies, I want it to be the guy that throws the brick at Green Goblin's face. He's like, "This is New York. You mess with one of us. You mess with all of us." I
was going to say
post 9/11 love for New York is like the best part of that movie.
Yeah. I was going to say Mr. Dinkovich.
Oh,
I have eyes like a
Brent?
cat and ears like a rodent.
Brent?
Get your Brent when you fix this damn door.
Oh my god!
I love those movies, man. Those movies are perfect.
Raimi pod for sure.
All right, what's next on the news flashpoint?
So if you didn't think Oscar Isaac was in enough things, he has been cast to play Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid video game franchise in an upcoming feature. Zach, I've never played Metal Gear Solid, so you're going to have to do a bulk of the heavy lifting after you pour your bagged wine into a glass. You're muted.
I wanted to make sure the audio didn't completely fuck me on that one because the last
you
time
didn't want it to sound like an udder being squirted into a cup.
I'm like Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi.
But yeah, so let's count it off. Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, so I won't spend too much time on this. Yeah, Poe Dameron.
He's going to be Mark Spector in Moon Knight. Solid Snake inside Desmond Lewis.
Dude's cleaning up, man. That dude, he's getting all the roles. Yeah, handsome. So beautiful.
Put him
man.
in everything.
Yeah, so I won't spend too much time on this because I know that you don't have much to say about the Metal Gear franchise. But This is great. The best thing about this casting is that I can totally see it too. Like I can see him as Snake. I don't know what they're going to do story-wise. Like if they're going to tell the story of Metal Gear Solid, which takes place in the 80s, or if they're going to tell the story of like 5, which takes place before that in the late 70s. Metal Gear timeline, all sorts of fucked up. Let me tell you straight up, all sorts of fucked up. It's like Lost, Metal Gear here.
Hey, I'm into that.
Yeah. The thing that I will say that is cool about this story was that like a year or two ago, they were doing a movie. I can't even remember what movie it was for, but they had a bunch of actors from a film on, I think it might've been like IGN or something, was interviewing a bunch of actors. And one of the actors in the interview panel was Oscar Isaac. And they asked, the interviewer was like, if you had to be cast in a movie based on a video game, who would you want to play? And Oscar Isaac was the first to speak up, and he was like, "Oh, I'd be in Metal Gear for sure." And the guy that was interviewing goes, "Well, who would you play?" And he goes, "Snake, bruh." That's literally what he says. And so ever since then, people were trying to like make a case. They were like, cast him as Solid Snake. But now it looks like it came to fruition. So I think that's just a cool story that Oscar Isaac likes.
Yeah, we live in where actors have so much gusto that they can just like get a petition going on the internet. Like Rosario Dawson, that's how she got the role of Ahsoka. Like Kevin Smith brought it up because he worked with her in Clerks 2. And he's like, she'd be great as Ahsoka. And then people were like, dude, she would. And then it's like Jon Favreau was like, oh, I know Kevin Smith. I know Rosario.
We didn't really even talk about Ahsoka on our Mandalorian part, but goddamn, she's awesome, dude. It made me want to watch Clerks 2.
Does it make you want to watch like the Clone Wars or something?
Yeah, maybe want to watch Clerks 2. And then maybe Chasing Amy. Movie. Just because I like the Kevin Smith universe. But
Usk universe, baby.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to dive into the big boy? The white whale, if you will.
White whale. Right. $15, little man. Put that Disney in my hand.
All right, so on December 10th, 2020, a day which will live in infamy.
Seriously, because this was also Game Awards. So I was like, I had the Game Awards on one screen and the Disney Investor Call on another screen. And I was just like.
Your mind was just probably all over the place.
My dick was like firm.
Yeah.
Very firm.
Dude, that's great. I'm glad you can still do that, you know.
I have problems.
No, you don't. Stop it. Anyway, so this was the day of the Walt Disney Company's investor call. And over the course of the call, they revealed their plan over the next couple of years. And roughly, they have announced 10 Marvel series, 10 Star Wars series, 15 live-action Disney animation and Pixar things, plus 15 all-new features that are going to be released directly for Disney+. So big old news dump there just in terms of titles that are in the project. We got a lot of screenshots of like the logos that have been created for all of these things. Yeah. In our news doc, Zach included the Marvel one, and in our group chat, I included the Star Wars one. But yeah, a lot of stuff. I like how they say over the next few years. So that gives me hope that I don't have to keep up with all of this over the next like 2 years. How many years do you think this is? 6?
So here's the first thing I'll say is that like, actually I'll add a little addendum here too, because I own Disney stock. So
you do?
I do. So if anybody out there wants to judge my opinions on this shit because of the stocks, you can get fucked because I own barely enough to even sustain myself. But that being said, Disney has some balls in announcing this much stuff in such a short time frame because you do risk oversaturation. This is what happened with Star Wars in the theater. Like they released a bunch of Star Wars movies. They tried to Marvelize it. They did a Star Wars movie every year and it didn't work. Turns out that's not what people want for Star Wars. But for TV, that could be a totally different thing. Like you could release it in bite-sized formats with different stories, different people that could work a lot better. So I actually think that if few years means at least 3, I think if they would have said couple of years, I think like you would be like, maybe 2, maybe a year and a half. Also, you have to factor in, this is like a serious case of factor in a pandemic. Like it is hard to film a TV show. Like talk to our boy Drew. Like, it's hard to film one project, let alone 10 Marvel. We didn't read this. 10 Marvel series, 10 Star Wars series, 15 Disney live actions, Disney animation, Pixar series, plus 15 all new Disney live action, Disney animation, and Pixar features on Disney Plus. Like, that's a fuck ton of content.
That's so much.
And I get that you have to, like, a lot of it is animated, so you can do a lot of that stuff in a work from home or safely spaced out environment. But like, any physical live action project where you have actors on set, like, that just takes so much more logistics. And so a lot of this stuff might not hit in this year span, but the whole point of these investor calls are like, hey, here's what we have planned. This is why you should continue to support us and not sell our stock right now. Yeah. So I think that it's a lot, but I do think that I think a lot of this stuff will get pushed and delayed, as stuff always does. But I do think Disney is pretty good with getting, a lot of stuff done in a quick amount of time.
So one of the things that they also talked about was Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yeah, this is
coming
a Disney
to theaters and on Disney Plus with premiere access on March 5th of 2021. Is it the newest Pixar movie?
I thought this was a Disney animated movie, so I think this is the team that did like Moana.
Moana, yeah. Okay, cool.
So
I actually have not heard anything about this, so I will have to check it out. I won't be able to speak much to that, but that's cool.
I think I've only seen the poster, but
coming out, yeah. And they also, before we dive into all of the things, this is a pretty interesting number here. But
crazy.
Across Disney Plus, Hotstar, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, Disney direct-to-consumer services have acquired over 137 million subscriptions. And in 2021, Disney Plus will reach into other markets, including South Korea, Hong Kong, Eastern Europe, and many more, which means that number is just going to keep going up.
And let me tell you a crazy fucking stat. Like 137 million subscriptions. That's a bonkers number in and of itself. But here's an even crazier stat is on November 10th, as of November 10th, 2020, according to Statista.com, Netflix has 195 million subscribers.
They're catching up.
And Disney Plus has been out for like a year.
A year.
And it's they already have
is it a year? No. A year
exactly? Because Mando came out last year the same time, so
yeah. Wow.
Just over a year. And they already have 137 million subscriptions.
How much money do you think Jon Favreau got for being the flagship Disney Plus show that has actually helped them acquire that? Because if that show sucks, the subscription service is not that much, in my opinion.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he was paid handsomely, probably a few million.
They got him on retainer at Disney, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Favreau is like a Disney shill at this point. He's directing all the live action ones. He has a hand in the TV universes. So, yeah, he's a friend of the company at this point. So he's fine. I don't think we need to worry about how much money he's making. Yeah. I think he's going to be just okay.
I love my boy Fab, so shout out to him.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some of the announced things?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like you should take hold of the Star Wars ones, and I might take hold of Marvel. How does that sound?
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, my guy. Let me pull up the graphic here too.
So I think
about some of this stuff.
Do you want to do it in like release time?
Is it broken down by that?
I don't know. I can't remember if the graphic is or not.
I don't think it is. The one that I have is definitely not. So I was just going to go based on what the graphic has.
Okay.
So I got to pull up here on my phone. We're going to go like a book. So we're going to go across. All right.
Cool.
So the first one, which is probably not the first released, but on my graphic here is Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic, which is a new show that has been announced set in the universe of The Mandalorian, produced by Filoni and Favreau. Do you think this includes those X-Wing pilots?
Yes.
This season? I think so too.
It might not be those specific pilots, but I think that it is going to be about like
that plot beat is exactly what this subplot has been setting up, which is like Leia is going to have to get some of these Rangers to go out and explore the Outer Rim because the Empire and other things are coming back. So
Yeah.
has the potential to be kind of just like a cool, almost like a U.S. Marshals kind of show, you know, just like lawmen patrolling the Outer Rim, as opposed to what the Mandalorian is, which is a outlaw patrolling the Outer Rim. So,
sure. So I don't know how to quantify these more than thumbs up or thumbs down, but for this one specifically, this is like on the bottom of the pack in terms of interest level for me.
I want to see more of what it's supposed to be about, because if it's just about these like X-Wing type guys patrolling the Outer Rim, that's interesting to me, but it's not super compelling compared to some of the others. So I'm in agreement with you. Next on that graphic, also produced by Filoni and Favreau, set in the world of The Mandalorian and the other animated shows, is a live-action Ahsoka show starring Rosario Dawson, which was like, come on, we knew this was going to happen.
And after that fucking episode of The Mandalorian, this is in the top of the most anticipated category for me.
This is second for me.
Yeah, the Obi-Wan probably is the next thing above that for me, but like that's a given. This is on the list of very anticipated. Like I love Rosario Dawson, and I'm very excited to see her being fleshed out in a full show.
You haven't seen Rebels, so this is not as important to you, but this is the epilogue that Rebels deserves. Considering that in the episode of The Mandalorian, she's trying to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. They're going to tie the loose ends. That is the finale of Rebels. So that's pretty dope. Next on the visual, and one that we got a sizzle reel for, is Star Wars Andor, the new Disney Plus show starring Diego Luna, reprising his role as Cassian Andor. We've talked about this show plenty of times, so I don't think we need to talk about our excitement level as much, but I wanted to ask you about the sizzle reel and what you thought about the production quality of it. Because like coming off of Mando season 2, like if all of the shows look like that, it's going to be pretty rad. But
yeah, I mean,
what's your thoughts on this show based on what we've seen now?
It's still on the low end of my excitement level. I just don't like Cassian Andor as a character very much. Like I don't find him very exciting.
Come on. K2SO is going to be back.
Yeah, I think the show is going to be good. I mean, I think all these shows are going to be good, to be honest with you. Like, I can't see them being like trash. But it's just like, yeah, I'm just not excited to watch a full-length feature series about Cassian Andor. Like, I don't know. He's just not a character that I think about.
I think it's going to be a mini-series. Because I don't think you can do multiple seasons of Cassian Andor, because we already know what happens to him. I am more interested in the fact that this is a thing that I find very fascinating in the Star Wars universe, is the different rebel cells that are more like terrorists before they actually unite and become the Rebel Alliance. And they're like a lot more violent and a lot more insurgent based, kind of like Saw Gerrera and his character, which I know you're a lot more down on that character in Rogue One, but like his rebel cell is like mass murderers, you know what I mean? And that's how they get their point across. So I'm more excited to just explore that. They announced that one of the people that will be coming back for the show, in addition to Cassian and K2, is the person who's been playing Mon Mothma lately on the live action front. So that's kind of dope too.
Down with that?
Yeah.
She looks exactly like fucking Mon Mothma.
She does. George Lucas actually cast her in a deleted scene of Revenge of the Sith, so good on him.
Yeah.
The next one on my graphic, come on, man, Obi-Wan Kenobi coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They announced that Hayden
Christensen
is cast as well to return as Darth Vader,
doing what The Rise of Skywalker was too cowardice to do. I think The Rise of Skywalker, almost a perfect movie, but
God, no. Get
I'm fucking.
Get the sands of Tatooine out of your eyes.
The Rise of Skywalker is a great movie in my opinion, but one of the things that I think it's a very great and fun, enjoyable Star Wars movie. I think it's better than The Last Jedi. One of the great things that I think it does is I love the scene at the end with Rey reaching out to all the voices of the Jedi past, where it's,
sure.
There's Ahsoka and there's all those characters that are reaching out. But
Release the JJ cut.
The one thing I wanted the movie to do is actually go full 100% on that and actually show the spirits of the Jedi past.
They filmed it. They just, for some reason, decided that people didn't want it. But if anything shows you, based on Mandalorian season 2, it's that we do want the fan service. So quit holding back.
Yeah, Star Wars isn't. John Larson and I actually had a great conversation about this, and this could be an entire podcast. But it's like Star Wars isn't sacred anymore. Yeah. I feel like Star Wars used to be sacred. It's one of those things where it's like you don't shit on Star Wars, but now that there's been like movies of varying quality,
so polarizing.
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars is now up for much more criticism than it was. And
so what happened was Marvel is now what Star Wars used to be, which is like everybody talks about it and goes to see it, and they're all good. You know what I mean? Whereas like Star Wars is kind of like DCEU a little bit. It's like very polarizing on some people's opinions, but yeah, I'm excited for this show. Deborah Chow directing, who directed the 2 best episodes of last season, with the exception of Taika Waititi's episode.
Like a baby.
I'm waiting on that Liam Neeson casting announcement, or for him to just show up in the show. I think that's a slam dunk that's going to happen.
As like a Force ghost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or at least a voice. Force voice. I don't know if... I fuck it. Do full ghost. He's ready. Come on. He loves Star Wars. You know this, right? Like Liam Neeson he's like one of the few actors that actually like continues to talk about it. Like I'm so sad that he died in The Phantom Menace, because you could tell he was very excited.
Well, here's the thing I would say is like, I think like, maybe a small cameo could be possible in the Obi-Wan show, but I think if Liam Neeson is down for it, fucking do a prequel. Like Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn before the events, maybe training a young Obi and recast like young Obi-Wan Kenobi, like
Timothy Chalamet as young Obi-Wan.
Sure, I don't care. Fuck it. Like I'd be down for a Qui-Gon Jinn show for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think for you and I, we could both agree Obi-Wan Kenobi top of the heap. In terms of
top of the heap for sure. I also think this is probably the one that next to, I don't know why they're spending so much money on the Cassian Andor show, but like I feel like the Obi-Wan show is going to be the one that gets the bulk of the budget. Like that's a show where you don't want to fuck that up. Like that's like you can't fuck it. Like I want to rephrase that. It's not that you don't want to, you can't. Because if you fuck that up again, I think Ewan McGregor might yeet himself off a building. So
Hayden Christensen would probably be the one that would yeet himself off the building. But yeah.
I sense it too.
Quick little sidebar.
Ray Shields.
Before we move on, just with the Obi-Wan show.
Sure.
We were texting about this a little bit in our group chat. So Hayden Christensen, we all think there's probably going to be a live action flashback of him, right? Like Obi-Wan and Anakin.
So I think that's
maybe
all it's
a whole
gonna be.
Episode. Or
I don't think you're gonna. Hayden Christensen will not be Darth Vader, in the suit.
He was in Revenge of the Sith, though.
He's not going to be in this though, because they know how colossal of a fuck up that was. It's James Earl Jones or bust.
Well, he's the voice. I'm saying that Christensen's in the suit.
Oh, well, you know what who cares then? I don't give a fuck.
I care. That's cool.
No. Especially this year, like David Prowse passed away too, just recently. Like,
so wouldn't you rather get the next living Darth Vader to do it than?
I just don't think that you showed Vader at all. Like, I want this. I don't think this show has anything to do with Vader. Like, because the power of the relationship is that they don't see each other until that moment on A New Hope on the Death Star.
Know that though.
But I think that diminishes it. If Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are running into each other, having little like escapades in between the events of Return of the Sith and 4, like I don't know. I would rather just have a story about what is Obi-Wan doing, hiding in between the events. Maybe with these, I think the flashbacks are where it's going to be. It's going to be developing fixing the poor relationship that was Obi-Wan and Anakin in the prequels. Like, I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Hayden Christensen as Anakin and not as Darth Vader.
I actually
just my personal take.
Yeah, no, and I think that you're probably more right. But I do think there's a possibility where they fight. Like, I think that there's a possibility where they run into each other and they fight. And run into each other is kind of underselling it. Like, but there's There's a line in Return of the Jedi where Luke is trying to convince Vader to, tap into the lightness within him, and he says that Obi-Wan once thought as you did. And I don't know, that can be interpreted a lot of ways, because if it really is just the last time they saw each other was Mustafar leading up to when they fight, that's fine. But there could also be a really interesting thing there where what if this show is about he finds out what Anakin has become? Because he doesn't actually know by the end of Revenge of the Sith if he succeeded in killing him or not. So what if he finds out and he abandons protecting Luke and goes off to try to confront Vader again and finish the job? Yeah. And he just gets his ass kicked or something. I mean, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just think that this of all the shows is going to be they have to be careful. They have to be careful with fucking with things. And like, because you're already bringing back.
People want to see Ewan fight Darth Vader.
I don't think that is not happening, and I will drink bet that for the here to eternity. There's no Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight in this movie.
You don't think they do that because everyone jokes about how like lame the fight in the original Star Wars is, because they're just like two old people poking each other with sticks?
No, because everyone criticized Revenge of the Sith, how they're just jumping around like jackasses on this fucking video game lava planet. Like,
I think you're the only person that doesn't like that. No, because I think that duel is dope.
No, I am not the only person. Please do not, don't do that. That fight is widely criticized. All those movies are just like, they're too actiony. There's not enough grounded realism. Like, I would have loved to have seen a more emotional, rough, and like rage-induced fight, not this like acrobatic jumping around. That's just not the Star Wars that I like. But I know I'm not aligned with everyone's belief in that.
We will see what happens with that Obi-Wan show, but it could.
When do you think
really
this?
Good
when do you
really
think this happens? Also, do you think it still hits 2021?
They're filming in 2021, right? I bet you it comes out by the holiday.
So it's
a miniseries. It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah,
and
so
if it's mostly on Tatooine, you can knock most of those episodes out in a couple months.
So you would have to imagine that Mandalorian season 3 and the Obi-Wan show could run concurrently. Maybe Mando one Friday, Obi-Wan another Friday, Mando another Friday.
Because we don't know if they've started Mando 3. I actually don't think Mando 3 comes out next year.
We'll see.
I think it would be Obi-Wan next holiday. And then early 2022 is Cassian, and then holiday of 2022 is Mando 3.
I don't know. Talk to me after this Friday's episode, because I think that I'm curious to see how they end this season, because I think that Mando has a quick turnaround. Like, they were able to film that shit in a month or two, since they're doing all this stuff digitally.
So back to back, they did Lord of the Rings style. Because nobody appears to have aged at all except for Carl Weathers. So, because his beard's different, but
yeah.
All right, moving on. The Clone Wars animated show will be continuing in a spinoff of The Bad Batch, which is about a group of clone soldiers. The Bad Batch spinoff of the Clone Wars animated show looks like it's taking place right after Revenge of the Sith, which is cool to show, I think, the transition of the clone troopers and the stormtroopers. That should be a pretty interesting plot thing to tap into.
Yeah, this is low on my.
Yeah, if you watched Clone Wars, it would be higher for you, I'd imagine. But that's just based on exposure. So then the next announcement was an anime micro series called Star Wars Visions, which, in my opinion, is their version of what Marvel is doing with like the What If animated show. So yeah, could be cool, but we don't know much beyond that.
Yep.
This one is really interesting to me. It's the next confirmed feature film.
Are we going to talk about Lando before we move off TV?
Oh yeah, I guess we could finish TV. I was just going based on icons. So,
gotcha.
We'll do TV then. So Lando, a Star Wars television show for Disney Plus. This Childish Gambino, right?
They haven't confirmed. And here's what I want to know is like, what are your odds? Like, what would you
think it's both.
You think it's Donald Glover and Billy D. Williams? I mean, I'm fucking here for that shit.
So what I think the format is, this is something that Cal and I always talked about, is you have a scene, and this is what we wanted the Solo movie to be before it came out, of Billy D. and Harrison Ford playing cards. And like that's every episode begins with them reminiscing. Yeah, you remember that time? Yeah, I remember that time. And then it flashes back and it's the younger actors for the rest of the episode. So I think it's very possible that given how episode 9 ended, where she's like, who are your people? And he's like, I don't know. Who are yours? She's like, I don't know. He's like, you won't find out. I think it's very possible that we get like a Days of Future Past split timeline where you get old Lando with Jana and young Lando doing Donald Glover things. So this is definitely, if it's Donald Glover though, you're getting Alden Ehrenreich back as Han at least one more time. If it's
Donald Glover, I'm very high, like 10 out of 10. This could even be better than Obi-Wan for me.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 Wookiees.
But if it's not Donald Glover and there's some fuckery that's happening behind the scenes with like casting and stuff like that, then I'm very low on this. Like I'm so over.
What if it's not Donald Glover, but it's just Billy D and it's old Lando?
If it's just old Lando, I think that this is a terrible decision because I love Billy D. Williams so much, and I think that he's such an icon, but he is too old.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he like cues up certain things, and then they flash back and it's Donald Glover. If I'm writing that show, that's an easy.
It's so easy, but
it's
like
right there. Just like do it.
You have to worry about like actors and contracts and stuff. And like Donald Glover, I don't think signed a contract with like the Solo movie, and that movie flopped hard. And so it's like Donald Glover could possibly be like, I don't know if I want a part of this. Like they could recast even young. They could do like young Lando, like not like Donald Glover 30s Lando. Like it could be like young 20s Lando. That's what I'm worried that they're going to do is like young Lando adventures in Cloud City or whatever the fuck. And that's like, hang me. Sorry.
So Alden Ehrenreich leaked that he was signed to 3 pictures.
Yeah, well, that didn't. I actually don't think that leaked. I think that was official.
That is, which leads me to believe that they had also signed up Donald and Emilia Clarke, and obviously Jonas Waltemo, who plays Chewbacca.
God, Emilia Clarke. Ugh. Can we get an actress with more emotional range, please?
She does not have a whole lot of range, but I like her anyway. So yeah,
let's drink 2 and see where it goes.
Good pickup line. It's worked. It works.
Oh, really? Did it work for you?
Yeah, sure. Moving on. Anyway, Disney, if you're listening, just get Donald Glover. Pay him whatever you need to pay him. Like, here's what I want to know.
Pay him all.
Of all the announcements, I think most of them are miniseries. The ones that could be multiple seasons, I think, are actually Ahsoka and Lando. I don't think Obi-Wan can be multiple seasons, and I know they've confirmed that it isn't. But I think you could. I would watch multiple seasons of Lando just doing hijinks.
I don't know, dude. I mean, like, yeah, I think multiple of them could definitely be multiple seasons, but I don't know. In my dream world, I would love that a lot of these are just limited. They're one and done, and they're in and out, and they tell a great story, and they're gone. Yeah,
but if it's really good,
sure,
give it to me.
I would love the idea.
Interesting thing, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
This Lando show. Let's say it is Donald Glover, and it's post Solo Star Wars story before Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
He doesn't have the Millennium Falcon, and L3's dead. So, like, what's he up to?
He's just collecting more capes in his cape closet.
He's just getting capes, and he's winning mining colonies with card games. Like, if it's like, what if the Lando show is like Casino Royale? So it's like high stakes poker game,
but
for
just
Cloud
the poker
City.
scene.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rad.
Pretty rad.
Anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about a lot of these, though.
So where does Lando fall?
Lando falls toward the top. Like I said, if Donald Glover's attached, it's toward the top. If Donald Glover is not attached and they're doing like young Lando,
and then Billy D, it's in the middle.
Well, I think that Billy D could possible. Billy D is impossible. I think Billy D is going to play a role in whatever this is, but it's going to be so limited that it's not going to make a difference. It's going to be like a cameo.
Cool.
That's my take.
And then the last TV series to be announced was Star Wars: The Acolyte, which they didn't give much info.
Nope. I don't know anything about this.
Do you have any predictions?
The acolyte. Can we get a definition of acolyte?
An acolyte is kind of like it's like a zealot, right? It's like a religious.
Acolyte, a person assisting the celebrant in a religious service or procession, or an assistant or follower.
This screams Dathomir to me from Jedi Fallen Order, the planet where Darth Maul is from and stuff like that. This also screams Darth Maul show to me.
So here's the other thing too, is I think that of all the things that Darth Maul has the biggest chance of showing up in, it's the Obi-Wan show. Because I do think you set up like the Obi-Wan like revenge game. It's like today Andy Dalton, who's the backup quarterback for the Cowboys, played the Bengals, and they just absolutely demolished my Bengals today. Mm-hmm. They took him to Pound Town. Like John said, they bent him over and showed him 50 states.
Yeah.
So a revenge game. I think that could be the narrative of the Obi-Wan show. It's like UNV Darth Maul revenge game.
So here's the thing. That is a plot point in Rebels, so I don't think they'll do that. Yeah, they already did it.
Yeah, and they didn't do it with Ewan McGregor.
This is true. They could just show the same thing that they did in Rebels, but they just reenact it. That would be kind of rad. We'll see. I don't know. It's possible. I think it could be likely that the Acolyte is, and don't shoot this down completely yet until I finish my pitch, but this could be a Darth Maul and Kira spin-off show.
Oh, okay.
So, because if we see at the end of Solo, she calls the boss and we find out it's Darth Maul and he turns on his lightsaber for no reason and says they're going to be working very closely together. Well,
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, that's all the TV announcements. You ready to talk about this feature film?
Yeah, let's talk about it. This one's very interesting to me.
So, Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman and what's it called, Monster, with Charlize Theron, is directing a feature-length film called Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which, if you have ever played a good Star Wars GameCube game, this is a fighter pilot movie coming up. So, Top Gun in space, baby. Let's go. Get Kenny Loggins on the phone. Get Tom Cruise in this movie, Maverick in space.
Wow, Tom Cruise in a Star Wars movie. I think I just vomited in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, we got the proton torpedoes. Yeah.
How about Mark Wahlberg? Can we get him in Star Wars Squadrons?
So when I saw this announcement, you know who I thought would be good in this movie?
Who?
Who has pilot experience on screen?
Who?
Tom Hardy.
I'm here for that.
But don't cover up his face like you did in Dunkirk. I want to see him talk to his R2 unit.
Yeah, I'll take Tom Hardy in a, like, I don't know. You saying that makes me think like Mad Max in space. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for that shit for sure.
This is definitely Top Gun in space. It's going to be fighter pilots of some type of era, probably the Rebellion era.
Yeah.
Maybe the Resistance era. Dogfighting with TIE fighters and other things. But I would love it if it's like an Academy-based movie too, you know? Like if it is like Top Gun where there's a ace fighter pilot program. Very interested to see more, but the big get for this is Patty Jenkins for sure. That's like
that's the most interesting part.
And they show her in a teaser. She's like roller skating, and then she like puts on an X-wing uniform, and I was like, okay, nice. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's the first Star Wars film directed by a woman.
We love that.
Yeah, I love it. And it's also the first theatrically released Star Wars movie after The Rise of Skywalker, which I think is so interesting because, like we talked about earlier, like the Star Wars trying to Marvelize the formula, like by releasing a movie every year. And then they realized they were like, oh, we can't do this. We should probably slow it down a little bit. And then they changed their focus to Disney Plus. But last Christmas was The Rise of Skywalker. And so now it's been a full year almost of no Star Wars in theaters. When do you visualize this movie happening? Because I'm going to say 2023 or 2024.
I was going to say 23. The next feature film, which was reportedly the Benioff and Weiss one, was supposed to be 22. So if you factor in the COVID year-long delay for everything, 2023.
And them getting fired.
Yeah, well, that's their own fault.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the Disney announcements. I think there's some really good things down the pike. There's some things that I really need to know more of what it's about. But yeah, pretty cool stuff, man. You want
Time for some Marvel.
You want to take us to your world?
Take me to my wheelhouse.
Take me to my people.
My people. The other thing we should touch on.
Your graphic of announcements is even bigger.
Yeah, it's a fucking fuck show of graphics and logos. Shit, man, it's crazy.
There's so many logos.
So many logos. The thing that we should sandwich in here
the
is
worst one is the Ant-Man logo for sure. Quantumania. It's just there's too many fonts going on in that logo.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
you're right. But what about Buzz Lightyear movie? We forgot to touch about
this. Is like that in between Star Wars.
Yeah, this is the in between. Is Chris Evans is going to be young Buzz Lightyear in an animated movie?
Yeah. Okay. So Chris Evans is young Buzz Lightyear. This is Did you ever see that cartoon movie Buzz Lightyear Star Command?
Hell yeah, I did. I have that shit on VHS. I think I still have it in my collection of VHS movies over there.
This seems like they're doing something like that.
I love it. I think this is cool. Like. I don't know. I think it's goofy and funny, and like I like Chris Evans a lot, obviously, and so I think that doing a Buzz Lightyear, like an actual movie like Buzz Lightyear, like a Buzz Lightyear of Star Command was basically like what would it be if Buzz Lightyear was an actual character and not like a toy if he was a space ranger? Yeah. So I think if they follow that, I think it could be just a really cool, goofy little movie. I don't think it needs to be anything more than that. I don't think it needs to be. This is a movie I will watch on a Monday night with some takeout and thoroughly enjoy myself, I'm sure, and probably take a few glasses of wine straight to the face.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's cool. I think they should have stopped Toy Story after 3, but.
I agree, but I also don't think that. I think this is different enough from Toy Story. This is more like a short, like it's like one of the short films that they do. Like, I don't know. This isn't connected with any canon, so I think it's going to be just fun, a fun little movie.
Sure.
All right, Marvel. Time for some MCU. The best film franchise of all time.
He's going to adjust his loins real quick.
Yeah, let me get harder. I'm going to get harder and harder as these announcements happen. Okay. So. There's the big square with all the logos and stuff like that. We don't need to spend too much time on most of these, but like I'll kind of run through the biggest ones we got here. Like we know Black Widow's coming. They've wrapped production on Shang-Chi, which I'm very excited about. Have you read a Shang-Chi comic, John?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Is it a character that I might find enjoyable at all?
Do you like Kung Fu?
Yeah, fuck yeah, why not?
Yeah, you would like it.
Okay.
Is Shang-Chi a movie or a show?
Shang-Chi is a movie.
Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
We get the 10 rings, baby, the real Mandarin.
Yep, the real Mandarin. Shang-Chi, I think they actually pronounced it Shang-Chi at the presentation, so I don't want to sound racist and white. So I think it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings. July 9th, 2021. So this is a movie coming out this next year. Features Simu Liu alongside Awkwafina, Ronnie Cheng, and Michelle Yeoh. Next up after that in the film universe, they talked a little bit more about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I still think is a fucking badass title.
That's Sam Raimi, right? So this is when we think we're getting our Toby introduction.
If maybe not even Toby in this one, but you're going to get like a little bit of a tease for the Spider-Man one. I think Toby's not coming for a 2-picture deal. I think he's showing up in Spider-Man and that's it.
You got him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. He comes in to say pizza time and that's it.
I just want him to come in and say, I beat an old lady off with a stick to get this.
I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. But yeah, Doctor Strange 2 comes in at March 25th, 2022. So this one's coming down the pipeline there. Also, this one, Wanda Maximoff will be in this movie as well. So this ties into WandaVision pretty intimately. Then we got a tiny little update on Thor: Love and Thunder coming out May 6th, 2022.
That's the one I'm most hyped for. Let's just talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, fucking A. Of the movies, it's
we haven't talked about this news announcement, but Chris Pratt's in it. I don't think we've talked about it on the show.
We talked about it, but they didn't officially announce this yet.
It's official. Come on.
They didn't officially announce this. But the other thing too is that what they did officially announce is that Christian Bale is in the movie. This was a rumor for a while, and he's playing the villain named Gore the God Butcherer. John, can you tell me anything about this fucking character?
Dude, he's dope. He's like an alien type mythical monster man who fights Thor. You should read that book. It's really good. It's the beginning of the Jason era and Thor run. Okay. It's a good villain. It's one of the better Thor villains that they haven't already used. They've used all the good ones pretty much. Okay. The fact that they kind of like blew their load a little bit in Ragnarok by using Surtur and Hela, I think cripples them a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah. That movie is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
As long as the foundations are good, they should be able to rebuild.
We were going to start a revolution, but we didn't print enough pamphlets. And then next up, Black Panther 2. This is one of the most important announcements that I think that they made. Not necessarily for shareholder stuff, but Kevin Feige did.
This is important for us.
Yes, he did confirm that the role of T'Challa will not be recast. Big applause. And I also do think that this, and this is, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I don't think this is a hot take, but I do think that the fact that there is no T'Challa going into a sequel to Black Panther honestly sets it up for a very intriguing story from the get-go, just in that premise.
Do you Black still Panther think your idea of them doing an astral plane body swap and getting Michael B. Jordan back is possible, or you think they just go Shuri?
I don't know. I do think Shuri is going to play a big part of that, but we talked about the other day, Shuri is also she got some flack this past few weeks of being, I think she's anti-vax, I guess, anti-vax or anti-mask. She might be a couple of the both. So that's a little sus.
So Evangeline Lilly is also apparently they're trying to work her out of the role of the Wasp because she was a little, anti-COVID safety at the beginning of the pandemic and is being a little too political with the current election. So it sounds like they're trying to recast her. So there might be some actor changes going into phase 4 in the same way they did the Don Cheadle thing. So
yeah,
be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. I think that,
I think it's fine. Just do it.
Yeah. Get rid of shitty people. We don't care about shitty people. I mean,
the characters are good enough that you can just recast them. So
yeah. And it's
not like you're recasting Han Solo. Who would do that?
It's a bummer because I did like Shuri a lot in Black Panther 1.
Letitia Wright.
She's great. But yeah, I think that if anything, what they're going to do is I would not be shocked if there's some reincarnation of Michael B. Jordan. I do think that he will play a part in this story. Like, I think that would be such an interesting redemption arc for him. Like, it would what it would do to strengthen the first movie too. Like, he dies because he can't change his mind on this cause, and he's so hell bent on his vision. But then you have the sequel where he comes back and actually has to like not change his perspective maybe, but like slightly tweak what he perceives as reality. I don't know. I think it could be really interesting narratively.
If they did like a Terminator 2 route where he's the bad guy in the first one, but he's the good guy in the second one.
Yeah.
Like you're saying. But I think it'd be interesting and they do this off screen, but T'Challa passes away and gets to bring someone back from the astral plane to take his place for some reason. I don't know how you do it, but it's comics. You can figure it out. And he chooses him for some specific reason. And so Michael B. Jordan just like wakes up on Earth again, and no one knew that T'Challa was going to choose him. So he like shows up in Wakanda and people are like freaking out that he's there and stuff like that. That'd be, I don't know, could be interesting.
Yeah.
Plus, is Ryan Coogler directing this? The Cougs?
Yes. Okay, the Cougs is back.
Jordan's going to be in it because they're like best buddies. So.
Yeah. All right, next up in the movie realm, Captain Marvel 2, they got November 11th, 2022, and they confirmed that Nia DaCosta is the director this time around. They also confirmed that the actress Amani Villani will reprise her role as Kamala Khan. So she's going to be Kamala Khan in the Ms. Marvel show, and then she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2 with Brie Larson.
Because Ms. Marvel steals her powers from Captain Marvel.
Really?
That's usually how it worked.
Okay.
Marvel comics lore and DC comic lore is so convoluted. There's so many iterations of how they get their powers. But yeah, those two characters are tied usually throughout history. So.
Okay. And then the biggest movie news is Fantastic Four is happening.
I love how the logo doesn't even say Fantastic Four. It's just a 4.
I think the logo's fucking cool too.
It looks cool,
like it doesn't
but like if
end
you didn't
on either
know
side.
what it was, you would be like, "What's 4?" Like, why can't they ever get the logos right? The last one said Fan 4 Stick, and like, come on, you have a great logo on the cover of comics that you could just use. But anyway, yeah, they announced it. It's happening.
Yeah,
it's about time.
Yeah, the big deal is that John Watts, the guy that directed Homecoming and Far From Home, is the director, which I think is a fucking killer get. Mm-hmm. This also marks the first time that a director has gone on to direct 2 different franchises in the MCU.
Besides the Russo brothers.
Besides the Russo brothers, yeah, with like Avengers and Captain America. So like John Watts will now have done Spider-Man and Fantastic Four.
All right, here we go. You got to cast it real quick. Fun little game we're going to play. Cast Fantastic Four. Sure. I need all 4 members and Doctor Doom.
So here's the one I would say is who's the Invisigirl?
Invisible Woman?
Invisible Woman. What's her name though?
Sue Storm.
Sue Storm. Right now I would lean, let's go with Ana de Armas.
Okay.
As Reed Richards, I'm going to do a Rahul Kohli from Haunting of Bly Manor. The Thing, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I think you just get him to be Groot and the Thing.
You should, yeah.
I think it's
and Johnny Storm, I want to do Chris Pine.
Interesting. So here's the only problem. Is Johnny Storm is Sue Storm's younger brother, and he's clearly older than Ana de Armas.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was just thinking it'd be funny if Chris Evans was Captain America and Chris Pine is Mr. Hot.
In a world where they have the multiverse of madness, did we get a Chris Evans Human Torch appearance?
I think so.
That'd be down hilarious.
For that. Yeah.
Okay. What about Doctor Doom?
Rami Malek.
You took mine, you son of a bitch.
Did I really?
Yeah, he's perfect for that role.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm waiting for them to announce that. He looks like he's from Latveria. Like it's perfect. And just I haven't even seen the Bond movie, but the way they're like setting him up in this Bond movie is very Dr. Doom-esque, like a guy hiding behind the mask.
Talk about another movie that I really hope that they announce for direct to streaming soon, because I'm itching for I could go for a James Bond right now, man.
They have those old rules from the creators of the Bond franchise where they got to go to theaters.
Well, so another thing that we forgot to talk about is 13, 14, 15. In 2 days, Tenet is streaming, and I'm going to be buying that for sure on the day that it comes out, and I'm going to watch that. So we'll have to – I don't know if you're planning on it, but I'll put it on my Vudu so you can watch it. But I'm planning – we should review Tenet on the next episode too, like have a little mini review.
I'd rather watch Birds of Prey, so we'll see what I have time for. All right, I'm going to cast Fantastic Four real quick.
Yeah, cast them.
I'm going to do the fan route. I like the John Krasinski, Emily Blunt for Reed.
Yeah, I don't like that. I get it, but I'm not a big enough I don't know. I just don't like John Krasinski very much.
That's America's guy.
No, America's guy is Chris Evans.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, school.
Not only did Chris Evans steal the role of Captain America from John Krasinski, now he's not allowed to be in any Marvel movie.
Okay.
Just saying. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with those two. Rami Malek for Dr. Doom. Vin Diesel's a good pick for The Thing. Now I can't see anybody else in that role.
I'm trying to think of bulky white guys.
They don't have to be white. They're rock people.
Yeah, that's true. Bulky.
Honestly, let's get Dwayne Johnson in there. Sure.
The Rock as the Thing.
The Rock man. For Johnny Storm, you're going to love this pick. Who plays Steve Harrington in Stranger Things?
Oh.
What's the actor's name?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, get Steve Harrington. And then since you pick Rami Malek, I'll pick a different person. Let's go Bryan Cranston for Dr. Doom.
Ooh, you can't go wrong with either of those picks, Marvel. Hire us, you cowards.
Do it. All right, continue.
So next we're going to do TV, and we're going to kind of blaze through these since we're running long on time.
Yeah.
WandaVision. I don't know if you've caught all the new trailers, but holy fuck, dude, I can't express to you how excited I am about this show. I can't wait. This is perfect for me. This is like, it's like the nuclear family, Americana, and then it's all it's TV through the ages. So you got your
Brady Bunch.
You got your Family Ties, your 70s show. You got all this stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I
really hope that the one that they haven't revealed yet is the 90s sitcom.
Like a Seinfeld or a Friends or whatever.
Fresh Prince.
Or Fresh Prince, sure.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, I can't wait. That comes out January 15th. So this is the next big thing on the radar. Like January 15th is the next.
Western Sokovia, born and raised. Sorry.
In the nuclear test site is where I spend most of my days. Then after that, we finally got a firm date on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is March 19th, 2021. I'm
more excited for that one.
You're more excited for that one? I'm excited for it. I think I'm
really like Bucky.
Hell yeah,
Sebastian
dude.
Stan. I think he slaps.
Sebastian Stan looks great. Someone did
Benzema's coming back.
What Sebastian Stan would look like as if they recast Luke Skywalker. Have you seen this?
I think that's what I'm saying. Like if they bring Luke, I think it's gonna be him. Like they're just listening to fan service at this point now. So,
yeah. And
he's
then
got
after
the
that,
chin. You gotta have the chin. That's the thing, is you gotta have the dimple on the chin to be Mark Hamill, I guess.
Or you could just sound like the Joker. For my fish, of course. Then after that, after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we got Loki coming in May of 2021. And did you watch this trailer? This trailer, that's the shit right there, dude. I can't wait for this show.
Owen Wilson's in that show.
It's awesome. Owen Wilson looks so out of place, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of Loki jumping through time, and it's like, yeah, I love this idea. Like, I think it's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. And the fact that it connects so intimately with Endgame, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And then after that, they showcased What If, summer of 2021. This is the animated show. Like, what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum? What if T'Challa became the Star-Lord? And I can't wait. I think this is going to be such a fun little series, especially for nerds like us to talk about. Like, oh, how cool is this? How cool is that? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Are there any What If crossovers that you're really hoping for?
They're not going to do them though, because they haven't introduced the Netflix Marvel things into the canon yet. Maybe they do in this. I don't know. But I love
Spider-Man 3.
I love the ones where it's like, what if the Punisher was Iron Man? That's a great comic book. It's just Frank Castle in the Iron Man suit, and he's just like killing mobsters. It's so fucking dope. I would love John Bernthal in the Iron Man armor, though. Make that happen.
Yeah, there was like rumors that were also passing around this past week about like contract negotiations for these people, like the Marvel Netflix shows, like
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, all these guys. And why can't I remember her name? I love her. She's in Breaking Bad.
Kristen
Ritter, yeah. That she could be in potential negotiations to come back in like a limited capacity for the MCU and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that phase 4 and beyond is all about building out this multiverse. And so I think you're going to see a lot of those kind of things. But
I hope so. I was really bummed. This would have been the perfect time to be like Daredevil season 4, Punisher season 3, Jessica Jones season 3. Like, this is another topic for another day, but I'm still really upset that has not made the transition over yet to Disney Plus, because those shows are so cool. And like, it's really good comic book television. And they were doing that long before they ever even came up with Disney Plus, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping it comes back, because that Daredevil show is like one of my favorite Marvel on-screen things that I've seen throughout even the MCU. Plus, like, get Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk into the Spider-Man movies, please. Like, come on, that'd be so great if Tom Holland ran into him.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3, baby. The multiverse is happening.
Bring it all. Maybe they all come in through that too.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Ms. Marvel and Hawkeye. These are all TBD 2021.
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld officially confirmed. We got Jeremy Renner. And I don't know if you're a fan of like, I don't think you are. I can guarantee you aren't. But I'm like on the MCU leaks on Reddit where it's like set photos and shit. And there's a ton of set photos coming out of Hawkeye. So they're filming that right now. And a lot of people are pointing out that they're using really comic accurate costumes for both of them. So it's going to be very, very close to the Matt Fraction series. Yeah.
The Purple H helmet.
Yeah. So next up is She-Hulk. They talked about this very briefly, talking about Tatiana Maslany is confirmed for the star of She-Hulk, who's from Orphan Black, Emmy-winning star.
I was kind of hoping for Allison Brie as Jessica Walters, but that's okay. This is a good casting too.
And they also talked about how Don Cheadle will be back to star in this as well. So like they're having like little support characters in all these little shows from the other ones.
Because they don't know what they're doing with the Avengers yet. So they're just shoving them in other things.
Yeah. They also talked about...
Do you think Bruce Banner is going to appear in any of these? And if so, which one?
Bruce Banner is in like Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't see a single announcement here where I'm like, the Hulk makes sense in that.
So one of the other ones is they talked about Secret Invasion, which is Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn as Talos coming together. So I could actually see Mark Ruffalo showing up there. No?
I don't think Bruce Banner and the Hulk have any place in an espionage face-changing movie. Maybe he's in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Banner and Reed Richards do a lot of work together. But I was really bummed when I saw this because like, where's my guy Ruffalo going to be?
Where's my guy Ruffalo?
I mean, he's still like, think about it. Like last we saw them, Cap's things tied off really beautifully, and they already have inherited that with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Tony's things tied off beautifully. They're touching it with Ironheart, but he's like the only member of the original Avengers where I don't know where he goes in any of these. Because they're not going to put him in Thor again because they got Chris Pratt and Natalie Portman back. So.
Well, you could save him and he could be part of the really heart of Avengers 4. Or Avengers 5, I guess, at this point. We'll see. Older, grizzled Hulk, you know?
Maybe.
So just
Old Man Logan, where he's like the
Old Man Hulk.
Yeah.
All right, to tie a bow on it, just the last few, if you have anything to say here. Yeah, we talked about, what is it? Secret Invasion.
Eternals.
Yeah. There's the Eternals, which we know pretty much everything about at this point. Ironheart, they officially announced with Dominique Thorne of If Beale Street Could Talk. Armor Wars. This is a thing. I don't know what that is. And then
it's Iron Man comic book.
Okay. And then Vin Diesel is going to be in a spin-off series for Guardians called I Am Groot. And
I hope that there's no dialogue in that show. I hope it's like Castaway and it's Groot stuck on a planet.
Or like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, you know?
Sure.
And then the last thing is that James Gunn is returning not only for Guardians Volume 3, but he's also doing the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I think is just fucking genius. Like,
yeah, that's a great idea.
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the most similar, like one of the most Star Warsy things we've ever had since Star Wars, and it would just make so much sense that they do a Star Wars holiday special, but it's Guardians.
So who is the person who's celebrating Life Day in this situation?
Life Day?
Groot or Drax?
Oh, Drax. That could be funny. Or Mantis. Mantis could be funny to be celebrating Life Day.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
That's all the Marvel news. The big thing to put a bow on all the Disney Plus and Disney investors call thing is that Disney, they put out all this really cool ass news and all these announcements, and then the very end, and like it wasn't even during the show, but the next day during interviews of the show, they officially announced that Disney Plus is the cost is going from $6.99 a month to $7.99 a month. So they're raising subscription plans by $1 in
so
March.
Worth it. Yeah, it's so worth it.
Still worth it for sure. But yeah, this is going to be the pattern. Like every year or so, Disney Plus will raise their subscription amount until it gets to the point where Netflix is at the point where their most expensive plan is $19 a month for Netflix. So we got a ways to go before we hit there, but they'll just keep climbing, baby.
Yep. All right, let's fire through these last couple of news.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because they're none of them are as cool as what we just talked about.
Exactly.
So Deadpool taps Bob's Burgers writers for third installment. I think this is a great idea.
I'm just excited that Deadpool 3 is officially part of the MCU.
I would love for them to bring John H. Benjamin into Deadpool.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I could see him fitting in that. Really cool. But yeah, Deadpool, we're here for it.
Thumbs up.
What we're also here for is It's Always Sunny being renewed for 4 more seasons to make it the longest running live action sitcom in American television, which to me seems like they were just trying to give a big old fuck you to Seinfeld and all these other shows.
It just seems like they were trying to get that title to get that title. Like, yeah.
But
does Sunny need 4 more seasons?
Yes. Why would you even ask that question? What kind of podcast do you think you're on? The quality of the seasons are still as good as it's been in like the last 3 years. So until they royally fuck up, I'm here for it. And it's only 10 episodes a season. So really
40 more episodes?
40 more episodes. Rick and Morty got extended to 80 something more episodes, and we're already 10 episodes into that deal. So, and they haven't let up at all. This was the one that I forgot to read, so you might have to talk about it. But Nick Cage will be starring in a Netflix original miniseries called The History of Swear Words. Let me just get this one in real quick. We're more like swear word protectors.
Right, I brought you to the National Preservation Room or Library of Congress. Why? Because it's the biggest library in the world.
You know what the Preservation Room is for?
Delicious jams and jellies.
No.
John, as soon as we're done with this show, you should watch this trailer because it's genius. And this show is going to be genius. Like,
I can't wait.
It's literally just Nick Cage as the host of this show where he's talking about the history. Each episode is going to be about a different swear word and the etymology of that word, going back in history, the usage of it, the importance of the word, like why it means what it means and all this stuff. And all the while, Nick Cage is going to be narrating this like comedy documentary, and the trailer is hysterical, and I can't wait for this show.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And it's coming to Netflix, I think, in like a few weeks or so. Cool. But yeah, that's it for that.
And lastly, our favorite franchise that we haven't talked about enough.
Oh, God, the best franchise ever.
Fantastic Beasts, Wizarding World of Harry Potter franchise has found the replacement to Johnny Depp, and Mads Mikkelsen will be playing Grindelwald from here on out, which I think is actually really good casting.
I think so, too. Can you sing the Harry Potter Hedwig theme? All right, now sing the Fantastic Beast theme.
Fuck you and you and you.
It's da na 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 na. It's like they try to make it just so subtly different from the fucking. God, dude, those movies blow. I was so excited to watch The Crimes of Grindelwald too, and at the end of it, I was just like, "Man, that was just not fun."
So it's like a total waste of Jude Law, by the way.
Totally, for sure.
If I was him and I saw that final cut, I would have been like,
"Peace."
I honestly am waiting for that to be the next news article. Is they're looking for a replacement for Dumbledore
for Dumbledore,
and then they cast Johnny Depp.
Oh no! Right back where we started.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I think I agree. Mads Mikkelsen, good pick. He's a great actor. Can't wait. Put him in everything. Mads Mikkelsen, great actor. Cast him as the next James Bond for all I care. They're pretty cool.
He's already in James Bond.
Yeah, cast him again.
Sure.
All right, well, we've reached the end of the news, John. Is there anything else on the Radiovania docket that we need to cover? I mean, this episode's been going for a while.
I think we're good. I think this is the news episode.
So looking forward, we've got Mandalorian finale.
Yep.
We've got Wonder Woman 1984. We have Birds of Prey that we still need to review. And then there's I'm trying to think of like Christmas stuff. There's not much like stuff happening in the rest of December besides that. And then the next big thing, I guess, is WandaVision.
Yep.
So.
Or me getting a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Whichever comes first.
That's true. That's true. I'm still looking for him.
Thank you. I'm looking too. It's not going well.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening. I know it's been a heavy news episode, but I hope you're here for our insightful commentary and lovely anecdotes. Remember, go to radiovania.com for all of our stuff. That's where you can easily find and subscribe to all of our podcasts and videos and all that jazz. And please email radiovaniashow@gmail.com with your insight. If you liked the shareholder call, if you didn't like it, we'd love to hear. We'd love to hear about what you're most excited about. We'd love to hear
you hated every single announcement. I really want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious.
There's someone out there who's just a bitter fucker. Like, Jesus, we want you on the show, you know?
Thanks.
But other than that, I'm at Zach Rotello. The show is at Radiovania on most social media platforms.
And I'm Jonathan Parker. You gotta come find me.
Come and get me, bitch. He drives a truck around. It's really hard to miss him. You could probably set up one of those like long ropes with like barbed wire on it in front of a desert
path. Like how they got
path.
Mando.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Until the next time, I guess that's really all we got for you.
That's all we got.
All right, John, do you want to give me a Mandalorian quote? Or no, not Mandalorian, because give me a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy quote to end this episode.
I'm trying to do one that we haven't already brought up.
Okay. I can think of one.
This man killed my uncle.
Go get him, Tiger.
That's a good one.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peel the flesh from her bones.